Hello and welcome. You're joining us on the special broadcast as we get you all the big political updates coming in from Andhra and Telangana. I'm first going to kick off things with the latest coming in from Telangana. Home Minister Amit Shah is speaking in Bongir. Let's cut across live.
और मोदी जी जो कहते हैं वो करते हैं.
మోదీ జీ దేన్నైతే చెప్తారో దాన్ని తప్పనిసరిగా చేసి చూపిస్తారు.
भाइयों बहनों, आप भोंगीर वालों मुझे बताओ, राम मंदिर बनना चाहिए या नहीं बनना चाहिए?
భువనగిరి మిత్రులారా, మీరందరూ చెప్పండి, రామ మందిర నిర్మాణం జరగాలా జరగొద్దా?
70-70 साल तक कांग्रेस पार्टी राम मंदिर के निर्माण को रोक कर रखी. मोदी जी ने 5 ही साल में केस भी जीता, भूमि पूजन भी किया और प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर कर जय श्री राम कर दिया.
గత 70 సంవత్సరాలుగా కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ అయోధ్య విషయాన్ని లటకాయించి పెట్టింది, వేలాడదీసి ఉంచింది. కానీ మోదీ గారు కేవలం 5 అంటే 5 సంవత్సరాలలో కేసులు కూడా గెలిచారు, భూమి పూజ కూడా చేయించారు. అదే విధంగా రామచంద్రుని ప్రాణ ప్రతిష్ఠ చేయించి జై శ్రీరామ్ అన్నటువంటి నినాదాన్ని ఇచ్చారు.
भाई और बहनों, मोदी जी ने राम मंदिर बनाने का वादा पूरा किया है.
మిత్రులారా, రామ మందిరాన్ని నిర్మిస్తానన్నటువంటి తన వాగ్దానాన్ని మోదీ గారు పూర్తి చేసి చూపించారు.
भाई और बहनों, भोंगीर वालों मुझे बताओ, ये कश्मीर हमारा है या नहीं है?
భువనగిరి వాసులారా, ఒక్క మాట చెప్పండి, కశ్మీర్ మనదా కాదా చెప్పండి.
ये खड़गे जी कहते हैं राजस्थान और तेलंगाना वालों का कश्मीर से क्या लेन देन है?
ఈ మల్లికార్జున్ ఖర్గే గారు చెప్తున్నారు, రాజస్థాన్ తెలంగాణకి చెందినటువంటి ప్రజలకు కశ్మీర్తో ఏం సంబంధం అని చెప్పి ఆయన అడుగుతున్నారు.
अरे खड़गे जी, आप भोंगीर वालों को नहीं जानते. भोंगीर का बच्चा बच्चा कश्मीर के लिए अपनी जान दे सकता है, जान दे सकता है.
ఓ ఖర్గే జీ, మీకు తెలియని విషయం ఒకటి ఉంది. అదేమిటంటే, ఈ భువనగిరి వాసులు ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, భువనగిరి వాసులు కశ్మీర్ కోసం ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రతి పిల్లవాడు తన ప్రాణాలను ఇవ్వడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాడు.
भाई और बहनों, मोदी जी ने कश्मीर से धारा 370 को समाप्त कर कर कश्मीर में हमेशा के लिए तिरंगा लहराता रहे, ऐसा काम हमारे नेता नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने किया है.
మోదీ జీ ఆర్టికల్ 370 370వ అధికరణాన్ని తొలగించడం ద్వారా కాశ్మీరులో త్రివర్ణ పతాకం రెపరెపలాడేలా చేశారు. సదా సర్వదా కశ్మీరు మనదేనని ఆయన చెప్పారు.
भाइयों बहनों,
All right, we'll get you all of the highlights of Home Minister Amit Shah's rally there in Bongir of Telangana, where he's raised a number of issues, focusing largely on lashing out to the Congress government in Telangana. But let's now bring our focus to what's happening in Andhra Pradesh. Remember, both Telangana and Andhra are polling in just a few days from now on May 13th on Monday. And in Andhra Pradesh, there's been a massive cash seizure of 8 crore rupees. This has happened in the NTR district. What we're being told is that this money was in fact kept in a truck. It was traveling from Guntur to Hyderabad, which is about a 6 to 7 hour journey, and was nabbed by officials. The driver as well as the helpers who were in that lorry have now been detained, taken into custody to identify exactly where this money came from and where it was headed. Unfortunately, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we've always seen elections being ruled by essentially money power. Even the recent Telangana Assembly elections, there was proof of that. In this particular case, the money clearly was moving from Andhra Pradesh towards Telangana. Now, officials are yet to identify who the money belongs to or for what purpose it is being used. But remember that there are multiple points where checking continues to happen. And in one such checking, this lorry, it was a piping lorry, we're told, which was filled with 8 crores of cash, has now been seized. All right, let's get you some of the big exclusives that me and our team here spread across Andhra have been getting you for the last few days. Yesterday, we saw a mega Modi roadshow taking place right here in the city of Vijayawada, and he was accompanied by Chandrababu Naidu as well as Pawan Kalyan. The NDA putting up a strong force here in Andhra to take on the Jagan juggernaut. Now, during the show of strength, just a few hours before that, I spoke to power star Pawan Kalyan, who, remember, is fighting from Petapuram, but there was a video that had gone viral of Pawan Kalyan from the last rally when he was seen attempting to touch the Prime Minister's feet. I referred to that to ask him exactly why he decided to go for an alliance with the BJP and what it is about the Prime Minister that he admired so much that made him push for that tie-up. Here's an excerpt of the exclusive conversation that I had with him. You're contesting in the assembly elections, but somewhere down the line, do you also have national ambitions, Pawan Kalyan garu?
For what? National ambition in what sense?
Prime Minister, Member of Parliament.
No. That is too much to think. For me, it's not about posts. You have to understand. It's not about. Definitely, I want to serve the nation, without a doubt.
So first step is Andhra?
No, not in terms of, for me, even right now I serve. It is not something, maybe it is not known to the entire nation, but I do serve. I do serve nation in the whatever way, maybe communicating a thought, communicating about national integrity, communicating about certain policies, and I do communicate. So politically, if that makes me, I think, a substantial amount of spoken Hindi is needed, definitely. It's not just English. I think spoken Hindi, the grip or command over Hindi language is very essential.
How's your Hindi, sir?
I can read and write well. I can recite poetry. I mean, I cannot recite, but I do. I'm a fan of Ramdhari Singh Dinikar, Rashtrakavi Ramdhari Singh Dinikar. I do read, but the only thing is I'm not used to, I'm confined only to, my group is more of either we speak in English or in Telugu. Maybe because I grew up in Chennai, I know Tamil. But by Hindi, I can read and write well, and I do understand well. But spoken Hindi, maybe a little practice is needed.
Okay. When you've been in this alliance with the BJP, there's also a lot of talk in Andhra Pradesh survey. Look at the current surveys. They're saying that, look, the NDA is strong in urban pockets, but then Jagan garu, because of welfare schemes, is doing well in rural pockets. So do you think that's essentially the discussion now, that it's a development, urban development versus welfare schemes kind of
because
debate?
The way in all the national channels, how they project itself is different. The grassroots reality is entirely different here. So imagine he is doing welfare, but imagine giving 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees is not enough for one particular family. Imagine he said, okay, for the kids' education, I'm going to, no matter how many kids you have, I'm going to provide, imagine an X amount of money, 15,000, 10,000 rupees, one particular figure. Imagine, for example, 10,000. Before he came into power, he said, okay, well, he was canvassing in 2019. He said, okay, no matter how many kids you have, I'm going to give this. After he came, he said, I'm going to give it to only one kid. So all his welfare programs are either slashed, he has cut down the number of people whom it should be the benefactors, and the second major thing is most of the national schemes are being projected as his schemes. He'll change the simple name. So at least around, knowingly around 11 to 12 programs, whatever he does are national schemes by Pradhan Mantri Modi ji's flagship program. Then he will put a Telugu name to it. Remix it and put it in Telugu. He'll put his name, Y.S. Jagan Gormudda Pathakam. It is like for women and kids, the Poshana scheme is there. He'll translate that into Telugu and he'll give that.
So you feel that there's no populist measure that's going to cut it?
No matter how many populist measures you do, but eventually populist, I can't even say, even let us assume, let us give it a good, whatever is right. Welfare schemes are needed, but provided if they are in tandem with the development. When they are not in tandem with the development, mere welfare, where are you going to create wealth if you don't do any development? From where are you going to get the money? So development and welfare should go hand in hand. They should be in tandem.
The Prime Minister is here. There's going to be a road show with you, with Mr. Naidu, everyone coming together. There was a video that went viral of you, sir, just a few days ago, where you were touching the Prime Minister's feet and he immediately stopped you. It's gone viral because he's immediately like, no, don't touch my feet. But do you look up to the Prime Minister in that sense as someone who's your guru of sorts?
Yeah, for me, he's like a guru and brother rolled into one.
An elder brother?
An elder brother. And I have extreme respect for him, so you have to understand my connection, my relationship with him much before he became a PM. And I really, because I feel country needs very gutsy leaders. So when Mumbai attacks happened, we were thinking 72 hours. We were in a state of we are in a state of fear. The entire nation is gripped with fear. I was thinking, how come if there is a leader, a charismatic leader, who would come out and would empower people and say something, how that would be? So for the thought process, always that thought used to match up with the Modi, always, though he was a chief minister of Gujarat. So when he finally was thinking about, when there, his name started coming out, so by then I launched my party. So I went and it's purely out of my respect and liking towards him. The moment I touch his feet, it is a very true feeling. It's not something, it comes from the bottom of my heart. That's all.
And you can catch my full conversation with power star Pawan Kalyan, including bits of him speaking in Telugu tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Election Express finale episode from here in Andhra Pradesh. Let's get you a glimpse of my report from the city of Vijayawada, which is seeing a very, very interesting fight for the parliamentary seat. You've got two brothers fighting it out. Kesineni Srinivas versus Kesineni Shivanath. Nani versus Chinni, as they're popularly called, are fielded by the TDP and the YSRCP. They say that there's too much bad blood between them, and that's why now they're taking it out politically as well. Here's an excerpt of that very, very interesting political fight to watch out for. The Vijayawada battle that everyone's talking about, you're fighting now from the TDP instead of your brother. How did that happen? How did you get the ticket?
Actually, Vijayawada Parliament 2014, the ticket was allotted to our family member. And in 2019 also he won as a TDP candidate.
Yeah.
After 2019, he used to do covert operations against our family. By feeling that TDP has lost, he got only 23 seats and it may not come to power.
So you were already with the TDP?
My entire family was there with the TDP from my grandfather. From 1982 we are in TDP. So I supported my brother. I have done his background work from 2014. I have done his background work. In 2019 I kept quiet, but I have not attended Vijayawada Parliament, but I have attended rest of the things because we have a family dispute. One thing I can say you clearly, 2019 election, our MLA Gadde Rammohan has won from the Vijayawada East constituency with a margin of 18,000. Mr. Nani has won only with 8,000 votes. Because of Gadde Rammohan's majority only, he has won the MP seat. It is clearly, you can observe the majorities of Gadde Rammohan as well as Kesineni Nani. It clearly shows that because of Gadde Rammohan, he won MP seat. Otherwise, if 18,000 majority would not have come, he would have been defeated with 12,000. He would have lost with 12,000.
You stopped yourself from calling him your brother?
Definitely.
He's no longer your brother?
No longer. We don't have any family relation. He made such a huge mess in our family. Not only me, total entire family is there. It is with me, except his 4 members. Total entire family are there with me because what the mess he made in the family. We are even unable to explain to the people because we don't want to make our family problem as a political problem.
Now in Vijayawada, where there's a different kind, where brother versus brother is happening. How does that feel though?
See, in politics, everyone will have aspirations. But I think party should give tickets for the right persons, not for the cheaters, not for the criminals, not for the land grabbers.
Are you referring to your brother?
Yeah, definitely I'm referring to the brother.
You're calling him a cheater, criminal, land grabber?
No, from now I have presented recently in a Meet the Press. I have presented a 1,000 pages document regarding his cheating, land grabbing, and all these criminal activities. If you want, we'll share a soft copy with you also. So all his lifetime, we have partnered in 1999 as a family. as business and also properties. And from that time, I know he is not a principled man. He is not an ethically, morally a fit person for the society. That's why I distanced myself from him. From last 1999, June 24th, we parted.
Okay.
So from that time, I'm distanced from him. And before I became the MP, he came to me telling that he got bankrupted and he doesn't have money to pay the school fees of his children and pay the rent also. I again accommodated him in my own house. Then when I became the MP, he started a lot of criminal activities here using my name. And he printed 10-20 parliament stickers of my vehicle. Duplicate stickers. He printed himself and misused it, saying that it is MP Krishna Nanik doing all sorts of land grabbing in Hyderabad and Vijayawada. So he is basically a criminal and a land grabber. That's why I don't think him as competition, and people also know about him. And recently, also after his nomination, I showed them the affidavit he filed, nomination affidavit, and also 1000-page document where all his criminal activities, where he cheated in pre-launching offers, where Telangana RERA has fined him, all the fake MP stickers he used, along with proofs, not just vaguely. I presented it along with proofs with 1000 pages.